I promise I won't always look like this. I just finished recording a video for my main channel. I'll link that up here. And I want to talk real briefly about this project that I started this year, which is my first 365 photography project. I've never taken on something like this before. It's something that I've always wanted to do, where you intentionally, make a photo every day and just try and have some kind of theme or some kind of persistent approach that you take and just document something every day. And I've taken photos for my whole life, it feels like, but never with the intention of producing one per day for an entire year. And I know a lot of people have done it. They say it's really hard, and I am already attesting to the fact I'm only 1 month in. I cheated. I started back at the beginning of December instead of the beginning of the year, because I thought it would be a little bit better to kind of first get a running start, but then also to maybe go like, winter to winter kind of thing. And I'm glad I did, because what I set out to do initially for the year was to have a theme called Trust the Ordinary. And that would be the idea of observing everyday life, the small things that happen, in our home. I work from home. I'm home probably 99% of the year. And aside from our neighborhood or some errands and the occasional trip or something we might go on, life is pretty similar, and life looks very similar. So there's going to be a lot of repeat things in these photos unless I, truly take a moment to try and be intentional and notice the small things, to trust the ordinary, right? Trust that the ordinary things can actually be interesting also. And so I wanted to try and do that. And I started out with that theme. I started a month early before the start of the year to kind of get a running start. And as I said, I'm glad I did, because my intention was to do the entire year with the CampSnap Pro, which is a fairly recent release, I think, and is a step up from their other cameras. I'm going to do a whole video every month about the cameras that I'm using for this project, and I just kind of gave away part of the pivot that I'm making on this, because this is really cool, and it has some interesting, different filters you can program into it. It's got a filter ring, so I can actually screw on different filters and mess around, and I've got a neat mist and polarized filter that I've been using for the last, month. Some cool stuff, but it's just using it for a whole year, part of the rules are that I'm setting for myself is there's no editing. So other than some cropping in post, I'm not doing any retouching. And I've quickly found the limitations of this when you're either in low light or extreme light. And I just don't think I can do it for a whole year. But I want to do this challenge. I want to take or make a photo every year, because I think it's a great discipline. I think it's something that, honestly, it helps to push you to see the world around you in a different way, to ensure that you are not just going out on a mission to take photos of a specific thing, which is obviously fine, but that every day you're stopping, you're pausing, you're contemplating, or even just rushing at the end of the day to go, all right, I need a photo. It's just a good habit, and it gets me using cameras, which is my favorite thing to do. So I'm gonna change it up. I'm not gonna reset. I'm gonna count that December, because I just took my 31st photo, and we'll end the year with a month solid of making a photo every day, which is great. But I'm gonna change it in the new year, and what I'm gonna actually do is switch cameras every month. They have to be digital. They have to be able to offload pictures quickly. I would love to shoot the whole thing with film, but I don't want to have to mess with like time delaying and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to use this every day. I shot my last photo with it today, and I suppose I could bring it back for a reprisal, maybe at the end or somewhere down the line. But what I am going to do is this month I'm going to switch to something completely different, and that is the 5D Classic. And I have had this sitting on my shelf for a bit, and I got it specifically just because I wanted something that had, kind of that look of film without actually being film. And This one is highly regarded for the colors that are just so reminiscent of film. And if you put it up next to like a Portra 400 or things like that, you can get really close very quickly. And again, no editing. So I'm going to be constrained by that, ongoing constraint that I put on myself. But I'm going to have vastly more flexibility with the lens choices and being able to actually, compose an image a little bit more intentionally. And I'm excited for that switch. I'm excited to go from the Camp Snap to a DSLR because honestly, I think that the goal of this is to make a photo every day. It's not to make portfolio shots every day. It's not to use one camera per day, for a whole year every day. It's to make a photo every day, to trust the ordinary, to notice things in life, capture them, and I guess just enjoy them more, enjoy the process, and enjoy the product of that long discipline. I'm really excited about that. I don't know if I'll constrain myself to a single lens, so it's a little more limiting, because I do think the constraints are a kindness, as a good friend of mine always says, and I think that this constraint, it's good. It is a neat camera, and I'm excited to talk about my kind of 30-day thoughts on it. But 365, just a little bit much. So I'm going to make that pivot, and I'm going to keep posting results. I'm uploading images to my website, to Glass, and then I'm also doing weekly recaps on Instagram. And I just realized I don't know if I did my last week. I need to triple check, make sure I finished off last week's, because over Christmas it got kind of weird. But I'm excited. I'm excited to keep going. I think it's really fun. And I'm excited to, officially check off 1 month. And I'm not anticipating coming back and doing like mid-year updates on the project itself, but I will be doing monthly recaps of the cameras that I'm using, because I think that that's a pretty special thing. And just trying to, I have I don't know, I can see 2 or 3 over there, maybe 4 cameras that I can pick from, and I'm going to be picking up a couple things along the way. I may actually do an entire month on this thing, which is the Osmo, and doing shooting, panoramic photos and then just selecting the spot. But that is also with its own limitations because, again, no editing, and it's the same depth of field and the same everything every time. So it'll be all about where I put the camera. And I think that would be kind of a fun thing. Maybe I'll do that in like April when I'm going, oh my goodness, which camera am I going to, So if that's something you've done, I'm curious. Have you done a 365, or am I crazy for continuing to evolve this 1 month in? It's very me to start something, get into it, and then go, it'd be really cool if I just change the rules again. So let me know if you've done anything like this, or it's something that, you have input on ways to make it successful. I do think if I can be really aspirational, at the end of everything, I would really like to do a set of selects from the year, and maybe, 1 or 2 photos from every camera, and do a roll of 24 or a 36 exposure photozine or something like that. And again, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm trying to think of ways to slow down, to have it not be a pressure thing. It's just making a photo every day, but at the same time to do it with intention, and to do it with the goal of making more photos, of taking more pictures in life, and just making sure that I use it every single day. And I think over time, my first photos with this were a little rough, trying to learn the camera and everything. But I think over time, I'm going to start seeing little patterns or habits that I develop. And maybe there will be some themes that I can pull out when I zoom out at the end of the year and look at everything. So I'm excited to keep going. And cheer me on Instagram or Glass if you're on there. I'm at CK Hicks everywhere. And then ckhicks.com is my website, and you can see the images there. I'll be uploading daily. And I'm excited to keep rolling my first 365 project. I guess that's it for now. This is the first just long talk at you video, and I'm excited to do more of these too. So I'll see you in the next one.